In this video, we'll learn how to edit our data in the NFM and the NBS Hubs, or any of the other CABA community hubs. So in the NBS Hub, the layout will be very similar to the NFM Hub. And if I just go back to the home page, this will be where you land. And you need to go to your NBS data. In the NFM Hub, this will say your NFM data, and scroll down to Edit NBS Data. On the NFM Hub, it will say Edit NFM Data. When you're in the Edit app, it looks exactly the same in both platforms, and in fact, you can edit the data from both platforms. It makes no difference which platform you come into. As long as you're logged in with your correct community license, which will display in the top right-hand corner, you'll be able to edit your data in a single edit mode or a batch edit mode for your project and your interventions in this app. And we just take a moment to navigate through the screen. So if we click with our left clicker and drag the map around, that's how we can move the map around left to right. And if we want to scroll in, we can do that with the middle scroller on the mouse. So to start with, I want to edit my project pin, and I'm going to go into single edit mode, and I'm clicking on this demo example test project. For projects, you can update projects, but you cannot delete a project. So you can update them, but you cannot delete them. And that is because the interventions level of the database would potentially be without a parent to those interventions if we allowed that. If you need to delete a project, you'll need to get in touch with us to do that. There are also a number of fields that you can't edit in here. So the project name and the project ID. And that is to make sure that the data remains consistent between the interventions and the project level of the database. Again, if you need to change these, come and speak to us, email us at the data team at the Rivers Trust. And I might decide that I want to edit some things like the project description, because every other field or box in here is editable. So I'm going to say that this is a series of leaky barriers, the north-east. And I might decide that I want to edit some of the other details. I could change the website. I could change the project status, so it may have been an opportunity before, and I might want to change it to funded or active. I can change any of those, and I can change the date, so we can put today's date. And an important one to remember here as well is that whether the opportunity can be shared. At the moment, this says it can be shared. It may have been an opportunity that was not shared, so it would say no. And in that case, you will need to change it to yes in order to be able to add any interventions under that project. If it does not say yes here, you won't be able to add any interventions under that project because it won't appear in the survey drop-down list for the interventions level survey. So I want this to be on the public map, so I'm saying yes, and I want to be able to add interventions to it, so I'm saying yes. And once I'm happy with all that, I can click update, and this has now updated my test project. If I want to edit a batch of projects, I can also do this by clicking batch edit mode. So I've clicked batch edit mode, and I will select and just scroll up to edit the data in a batch mode. You can do this currently for the projects. At the moment, it isn't possible to do that for interventions. But if I want to edit the projects, I click on here to bring up the selector, and I click and drag it over any of the project pins I'm interested in bulk or batch editing, and it will open up this box again on the right hand side. If I go to the top level of that, I'll be able to batch edit. I could edit them individually by clicking on the 3 dots for each down here, but at the moment I want to batch edit. So I'm going to click on the 3 dots on my editable NBS projects and click edit these features. So now I can edit the values in here to be all the same. So for example, if I want to share all of these publicly on the map, I can click yes, opportunity can be shared. I can just click yes here and it will update all of those. Do be careful with this because it is possible to edit a large amount of data accidentally. So just take care with it, but it is possible to edit in a batch edit mode. Now, if I deselect by clicking on this button here, which is the cross and the little box in the top left-hand corner of the map, and now, for example, I'd like to edit the interventions. So if I scroll to an area of the map where I've got multiple interventions, so here's some from a project, and I'm gonna click single edit mode, and let's go to my test project actually here. I zoom in on my test project, and if I click on it now in single edit mode, it will again open up these boxes on the right hand side. At the intervention level, it is possible to delete a intervention. If I scroll right down, you can see delete or update. So once I've changed this, I can update or delete an intervention. If I just scroll back up to the top, we can also edit the top option, which is the share approval field. So we can say, yes, we want it to be shared, or no, we don't want it to be shared. So in this case, I'm going to say, yes, I want it to be shared. There are the same number of fields again, which cannot be edited. You need to contact us about these. That's deliberate to keep integrity in the database. But we can edit any other field. And for example, we might want to edit the policy delivery field to biodiversity net gain. So if I just click biodiversity net gain, or for example, water net gain, we can update that policy delivery field. We can continue to edit whichever of the fields that we want to, and once we're happy, we can even attach photos. We can click update or delete. If we want to change the geometry of this feature, we can drag it around by clicking and holding it. We can change its size by holding one of the edges, the vertices or the corners here. We can also start to add more vertices. So if we wanted to, we could, if we right click, so I just right clicked there over the edge of the feature, and it's showing us these nodes. And these nodes are called vertices. And now I can start to edit my feature a bit more by clicking and dragging these nodes, like so. I can also left click to add another node. So there I'm left clicking and it's adding another node. Click and just left clicking, it's adding a node. And I can also move these around. If I right click, it's deleting a node. So I can edit my feature till I'm happy with its geometry. And once I'm happy with it, I just click update. So that is how to update your data in the Edit My Data app on the NBS and the NFM Hub.